It's your boy Gutsy.
Basmati Big, you know what time it is.
Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that good stuff. We got a super, super special guest. Listen, guys, to me, like, this is one of the guys I grew up on. You don't see a lot of black faces in Canada and Toronto on TV. Growing up, it was like, who was it? Master T, and that's it. Master T, literally, and that was it for me. And then I seen this show that used to come on every night that had me and my brother in tears. Yeah. They were doing the wildest stunts. They were doing the wildest skits, talking to everybody on the streets. I don't know if you remember me being in the bunny costume. Did I ever show you me being in the bunny costume? The reason why I got a bunny costume is because of this man here, bro. Like,
because of Fluffy the hip hop bunny.
Fluffy the hip hop bunny, bro. A legend.
Wow, that's crazy.
He's now a spiritual teacher. I want to say he's a rapper. Just an all-around Canadian legend, a legend in general. We got Morgan O. Smith, formerly known as Mr. Mo, on the Man Dem Show. Let's go, people!
That was bars.
I'm trying, man. I'm getting around you guys. How are you, man?
I'm all right. I'm good. Just,
Mental health check. How's your mental health been?
Mental health good. Well, I've been meditating for the last almost 22 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm also a neurofeedback practitioner as well. So I help people with mental health. So that's what I do. I'm also a youth worker.
Finding out.
As I was telling you
yeah.
off the record. So I've been doing a lot of different things, and yeah.
How is that? How has that journey been for you?
Which part? Youth work,
the spiritual, yeah, like the switching over. I know there was a transition, so just speak about the transition of just being a spiritual teacher.
Well, it was a huge transition. The last 2 seasons of Buzz, because we did Buzz for 9 seasons. So the last 2 seasons, which was on the Comedy Network, of course, I started meditating.
Okay,
and that's when things started to change. So it was like a 2-year process of me contemplating, and I actually wanted to quit the show during those moments. Okay. Yeah, because things were changing and hit a crossroad and it wasn't fulfilled. And so I'm doing this meditation practice, and one thing led to another. And when the show ended 2 years later, I was just kind of left in limbo, pretty much. A lot of stuff was happening, was going down. I didn't have another job to go to just as yet because when the show ended, I was working on another TV show idea, but it never got picked up.
Okay.
So one thing just led to another, and I was pretty much out of work. I was still doing stand-up, but outside of stand-up, I was pretty much out of work for the next 2 years.
And like at that time, you were probably thinking like Buzz is just gonna be around for a while, or it's just gonna keep you floating for a while, pretty much. Or was that the thought, or?
No, not really. Well, I had a lot saved. I had a lot saved up.
Okay.
We made a lot of money from the show, so and also too everything that's associated with the show. I was able to charge people more money for stand-up comedy, and I was able to charge. Yeah, so like we made a good chunk of money off the show. So I pretty much just sat on the money for 2 years. Bought a house, got married during that time. I had children.
Congratulations.
And all that. So a lot changed during that time period. But again, I wasn't fulfilled. So that's why I kind of picked up meditation.
Okay.
So
okay. So let's go back then, and then we can get back to the.
You can go into all the chaos into the mix.
So just bringing back to like you just growing up in the city. Were you born and raised here?
I was born in Jamaica.
Oh yeah.
But I came here. I was about 9 months old.
Oh okay. So
there was no accent, no nothing.
No nothing. You don't.
Nothing. All right. I came up here when I was 9 months old.
Straight to the East End, or were you like somewhere else, downtown, West End?
I believe when I first moved here with my mom, my dad was already here. My dad came here first to pave the way for us.
Okay.
So when we came here, I believe we were living in London, Ontario.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So London, Ontario, and then we came to the West End. No. Then we came to downtown Toronto, close by Honest Ed's.
Yeah.
Okay. Bathurst
there.
Area. And then afterwards to the West End, if I remember correctly. Then we moved to Brampton, and then to Scarborough. So by 881, we moved to Scarborough.
So hold on, you were in Brampton before Brampton was Brampton.
Yeah,
wow.
When Bramley was still
being made
separate from Brampton. I don't know how that worked, but
wow.
Well, hold on, Bramley was separate?
Well, we used to call that part Bramley.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I lived in the C section, that I remember. I used to go to a school called, what school did I go to back then? Massey?
Where's
I don't know if
Massey?
Massey's still there.
Massey.
I don't know.
Massey Public School or Massey Elementary. I'm not sure what it was called, but I went to a school called Massey back in those days.
Okay, no, for
Yeah,
me
in
it
the
was
C-section.
wow, that's crazy. That
Yeah.
to know that
Carisbrook
Bramley.
Court.
Carisbrook. I don't know how I remember this. Carisbrook Court or Carisbrook Court, is the street I lived on. So anyone in the C-section, Massey.
Massey Street Public
Not
School?
Massey Street.
Oh, it's
Massey, I think it's just Massey Public School or Massey something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If it still exists, I don't know.
I don't know.
But that's the school I went to
That's
before coming to Scarborough.
wow.
Yeah.
Brampton. That it's just
That's
you
crazy.
telling me that Bramalea is Brampton. That's why,
Brampton
like
is-
hearing
yeah.
that, it
Back
was
in those days, it was
separated.
Brampton. As far as I remember, there was Brampton, there was Bramalea.
Wow, that's crazy.
What kind of kid were you growing up?
I had many different sides. I still do. Some may say I was probably kind of insane or a little crazy, a little off. But quiet kid. I wasn't too social. Not till later on, like, tried to do the class clown thing.
Yeah.
But I was very quiet, very whatever. I was going through a lot of other issues, like, childhood trauma and things of that sort. So gone through a lot of stuff growing up. Yeah, so I was one of those kids. One of those kids that needed help.
Needed help.
Yeah.
And I guess just like you're saying, you weren't asking for help. You didn't really know how to go about it.
And I didn't know about anything.
Yeah.
I just know how to live. That was it.
What about music at that time? Who were you listening to music wise? Who were some of your influences?
How far back we going? Gosh.
Well, who are some of your Toronto? Like, did you even have, because we talk about that all the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
Toronto, the influences, like they had Maestro, Cardinal, but like a lot of these guys weren't looking at these guys as like, yo, they were popular.
Well, those type of artists didn't exist yet, right? Those type
Oh,
of artists
okay.
didn't even exist yet. So we're going back to the time where, well, we called it rap at the time. Rap was the new thing, right? You had who was going on back then? Curtis Blow wasn't even around yet.
Wow.
This is how far we're going back.
Yeah.
So hip hop in its own was a new thing. So the thing back then, of course, was either it was top 40 pop music, it was R&B, of course.
Yeah.
There was funk. All the other stuff, heavy metal, rock, and all that
Rock,
stuff was
yeah.
the big thing in the mainstream. But in terms for us, for black people, it was at that time anyway. If we're going that far back, it was R&B, soul. What am I missing? R&B, soul, funk, that type of
Reggae,
stuff.
maybe
We're talking
dancehall.
about the funkadelic stuff. We're going. That's how far we're going back.
Soul Sonic Force.
Yeah. That's how far we're going back,
Yeah.
right? Now when you hear the samples from hip hop now, they're coming from
Those stuff.
back from that time period, right?
Okay.
So back then, I'm coming from church. My father's a church minister, church boy. So all I knew really outside of pop and R&B was gospel music.
That's dope. Is
Don
that
J. Crouch and those guys.
Oh,
The Winans. Yeah.
holy? Yeah.
All the
It-
church stuff.
Is that how you got into music? Is
Yeah,
being
that's
through
how
the
I got in.
Oh yeah.
I'm originally a singer, so was in the church choir, played the drums in the
Okay.
church, self-taught, so taught myself. Well, someone
But
gave me
you
the
figured it
basics,
out.
but I kind of figured it out on my own. Played a little keyboards, bass, things of that sort. Yeah, but I spent a lot of time in church 3 days a week. Every week, strict family holds, strict church household.
So you did the what is it? It's youth on Friday, Sunday service, maybe
Well, we had
Bible
Sunday
studies on
service, yeah.
Wednesdays.
Our days were Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. So Tuesdays was youth night. Thursdays was more prayer
Bible studies
and
kind of
Bible
thing.
studies.
Yeah.
And of course, Sunday, you had your morning service, Sunday school, day service, and then night service. And then every other Saturday, we had fasting, all day fasting.
What's your take on religion now? You're still heavy.
I'm still non-religious.
Oh, you're still.
I'm still non-religious from that standpoint. I'm more spiritual, if anything. Like I do practice a thing called Advaita Vedanta, but it's not a religion; it's a philosophy.
Can you explain it to me? Because I don't know what.
Yeah, every time I bring it up, nobody knows what it is. Everyone just called me a Buddhist.
Oh, okay.
Right? But it's not Buddhism. But Advaita Vedanta is a philosophical sect out of Hinduism, and it has to do with non-duality. Non-duality meaning not two. So not two meaning that there's no distinction between anything. So everything in the entire universe is God. No distinctions between anything, but everything looks like there's distinctions. Like I'm looking at you, I'm subjective, you're objective. The room is objective to me, but from the standpoint of knowing who you actually are as God, it's everything. So everything in the whole entire universe is God. It's just it appears as an illusion. So you see a microphone, I see a table, I see people, but everything is of the same source. And that's part of Advaita Vedanta, non-duality.
Oh, that's deep still.
Right?
That's actually...
So I want to say around these times you're playing, you're dabbling with music, you're making
music,
so
learning how to play the guitar.
Okay,
Yeah,
and then you started singing and doing stuff, or was it the beat making?
Singing was a fluke. There was a guy back in the day, if I remember, his name was Ricky Moody, great singer. I was a little jealous of this guy.
Why, his voice? He had a nice voice.
He attracted all the girls with his voice, right? And I just said I wanted to do that. I want to do that. And I found that I could sing. So as I was there practicing whatever, I realized I could sing. Did my first solo in church. Everyone crazy and whatever. And that's when I had this passion for singing. Okay. So for the longest time, up to the age of 22, I was involved in music.
Okay, dope.
So you can still sing it. You got that voice still.
I still have it till the.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Run the instrumental.
But it's still there. It's still there.
Let's hear something. We gotta hear something.
I can't just like.
You need practice. You need
some water. Give him the water.
But I've done a number of tracks on people's mixtapes throughout the years that I've done for a few artists where I am singing. So there's stuff out there.
Yeah,
nobody knows it's me.
One of the crates.
And one of the things that I did see that you were like one of the early heads for doing the rap and R&B, like putting them together, mixing them.
Yes, but it goes even before that. So people know that from me doing that on Buzz with Country Mo D.
Yeah,
because Country Mo D was really just a mixture of a cowboy and Cool Mo D. One of the old school rappers.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right? And so the beats behind it was more New Jack Swing coming from in tribute to Teddy Riley.
Okay.
So that's where the whole idea came from. So that's why the music sounded a certain way. That's why there was singing and there was whatever, because that was the whole kind of a tribute to that era.
Yeah.
Right? So, but before that, way before that, like going back to like 97, 1997, 98, 87, 88.
Oh, okay.
I was making a lot of tracks. I was one of the first guys, like probably ever, to mix hip hop and R&B. So that's how far that goes back.
Oh yeah.
So I used to rap and sing on my tracks.
Okay.
And everybody thought it was whack back in the day to combine the two.
Yeah.
I was the first to do it.
So now when you see people like Drake and all these other guys doing it and they're getting praised,
They're getting praised, yeah.
Are you kind of like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, I did this back in 87.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. You wouldn't want to even delve in and just pop out maybe a song and just see how it works? You ever get that feeling like, let me see if, nah.
I moved on from that. Yeah, it kind of moved on from all of that, but for years that's what I dabbled in. Yeah, I was involved in that for years, and as time went on, you started to see females doing it, like Queen Latifah and singers from back then. But I was probably one of the first males to do that, and and then when I made the transition from music to stand-up comedy, which I did before starting Buzz.
Yes.
I got involved in that. I used to blend some of that stuff in my act before I changed the way how my act was going, but it used to be a lot of that. So a lot of the stuff that you would see on Buzz, I don't know if you remember Nigarachi.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Nigarachi. Yeah. The songs that I did on Nigarachi were songs I used to do in my earlier stand-up days. I just later on, we came up with the name Nigarachi from Liberace. The Italian, I think he was Italian, pianist, guy, whatever. It was based on that, but the songs within those songs were songs that I did in my earlier stand-up days.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we just took all that stuff and combined it into the show.
Do you remember the first joke you ever did?
Oh, I don't remember the first one, but the first time I performed was I think it was April of 94. But I don't remember any of the jokes.
You don't remember? Do you remember the location where you were? Was that like a Yuck Yucks or?
That was a Yuck Yucks at Yorkville. That was at Bloor and what's
Eglinton? Is it Bloor and Eglinton there?
Not Bloor. Young and Eglinton.
Young and Eglinton. That
was the main. But it was Bloor and Yorkville. Yorkville. I don't know. I don't remember the stuff. But it was down by Yorkville.
Okay.
That was. But that Yucks closed the week I was there. The day I was there, it closed that week.
Okay.
It was the last week in production. So everyone was moved to the Young and Eglinton location. So that was my home club.
So I want to ask you something. Like, what got you into like the comedy? Like how did it start? Like you just like someone said, "Oh, you're funny," or your friends kept saying you're funny. Like how did it come about?
My mom used to always say she used to say I was funny. I used to like kind of imitate my dad.
Doing stuff.
With his, I'm not going to get too much into it, but his crazy side, I used to imitate that a lot. And so I would make, it brought relief to the family. And she would say, "Oh, you should be on stage." She said she doesn't remember saying it, and she regrets ever saying it. But
why?
Well, Christian family.
True.
Used to watch Buzz. You know what it was about. It was totally the opposite of Christian life, right? So, yeah. So they're not too proud of that, but that's where it started. That's where it started. But I got into stand up only because when I was trying to get into acting actually. So I was trying to make the transition from music to acting because I was kind of tied up in a record deal. That had me, I was kind of tied up to it, couldn't be released from the contract. So I had to find something else to do because I couldn't sign to another label.
So pretty much you looked at that as like, okay, I need to get out the contract, or I need to find something else to do. Can't really drop music.
Just wait until the contract dried up and whatever. So I wanted to go into acting. And so I met with an acting agent, and I remember the acting agent said, he asked me, "So what do you do outside of acting?" And I just lied and said I do stand-up comedy. And he goes, "Oh, I got to come see you sometime soon. Like, I must come see you.
I'm going to come see you next week."
Damn. Yeah. So I started working on material.
Shit.
So I started watching a lot of stand-up and try to see if I can, I kind of put something together, and I started calling amateur nights. I called every week for like the first 5 weeks until I finally got on. And that's when I first performed for the very first time. And then I didn't get a call back for a few weeks. I got on again. They brought me back a second time. Which was cool. The second time that I did stand up ever, I had to perform after Howie Mandel.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
I'm nervous as hell.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. He just finished doing 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I got to do my 5 minutes right after Howie Mandel.
Wow, who the fuck set that up? Were you like a buffer guy for somebody else, or
it just happened? Sometimes famous comics will stop in just to do some free time.
Oh, okay.
To work on material or just to stay fresh. And it just so happened that when he walked in that night, and I was the next guy up.
Damn.
Yeah, so he did his stuff, did his show, killed, of course, Howie Mandel, and then I had to go up after him. And that was my second time ever doing stand-up.
Did you shit the bed, or you still kicked it out the park?
Well, I did well enough to get called back the next week.
Okay, yeah, you did.
Right? I still sucked, but I did well enough on the amateur night to be called back the next week. So as time went on, I kept on doing stand-up for about 2.5 years on amateur nights, and going around and doing stand-up across the city. And then Dave Chappelle one day walked in. He was filming something here in Toronto. He came in. He saw me do stand up. He actually went up to management and asked, "Why am I still doing? Why am I on amateur nights?"
Yeah.
So he kind of vouched for me to get me promoted into the pro level.
Wow.
Yeah, so Dave Chappelle like give praise to Dave for actually giving me a boost in my career. Also Tommy Davidson. Tommy Davidson saw me perform a few times at Yuck Yucks, and he was praising me at one point. I had all these guys, famous guys, that really built my confidence in regards to stand-up comedy.
Because when we look at it, something like hip-hop, you don't see that as much. Like, you don't really see, like, some of the acts that are coming, because I want to say at that time, Chappelle's not who he is. He doesn't have the Chappelle show.
He wasn't. I didn't have the Chappelle show yet.
Yeah, but he's still trying. He's still trying to get in the game and still, like, stamp his mark. But he's still, okay.
At this point, he's making a lot of movies, like supporting roles and stuff like that.
Yeah, but he's not Chappelle.
But he's not the Chappelle that we know today. Yeah, he's not that guy today.
Like, I didn't even know some of the movies he had until after the Chappelle show too, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, is the comedy scene a little bit different in a sense where they're a little bit more helpful? Like everybody around you, or no? It's just,
well, there are a few people who are very supportive and they're very helpful throughout your career, throughout your journey, especially when starting out. And there's people who will lend a helping hand and try to help you out to write jokes and stuff like that. There are those people. But there's the other side as well. Everyone's really out for themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Can I ask you something? Like,
Sure.
So you said like the amateur night. So what is the difference between the two? Like, is it like just a phone call you're supposed to get and say, okay, make this guy, like, bring him to a bigger stage type of thing, or like how does that work?
Oh, to get to amateur night, or to transition from amateur night to the pro
Right,
night?
the transition from amateur to pro, like, it's just like a who you know type of thing, or what?
Well, it's different from club to club. At Yuck Yucks, you had to, at the time anyway, we had a thing called Crash and Burn.
Okay.
So there was a guy named Jack Norman. He was also a comic, and his job was to, if you did terrible, they would play chaotic videos on the screen.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's deep.
Like a dead person being beat by
Oh,
a shovel,
yeah,
cars
that's
crashing, people drowning, people jumping off, that type of stuff.
That's sick.
So you went in there every week hoping not to get those videos.
Oh,
but the
man.
thing is, even if you did really well, if he didn't like you, he'd play them anyway.
Yeah, okay,
So sometimes it didn't even help you. But that's what he used. It was called Crash and Burn. First, it was called Crash and Burn, and then they changed it to Sink or Swim.
Right. Okay.
Same videos though, nothing changed. Right. So that was the process. So you'd come on Amateur Night. It would be difficult to get on Amateur Night on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
But if you made it to like the top 5,
Yeah.
the top 5 will perform regularly every week. So I had to work my way up until I got into the top 5. And so by the time I was doing the top 5, that's when Dave Chappelle happened to pop in. That's how he saw me. When Tommy Davidson saw me, I was doing spots on the Nubian shows that Kenny Robinson was doing back in the day. So that's how those guys saw me while I was still doing Amateur Night. And then during that time, I was doing some stuff with Rogers, which led to Buzz.
Okay.
Right? So there's
Street
2 other
Beats.
shows. Was that?
Wasn't it Street Beat at first?
Street Beat is a different show. Street Beat is what Buzz is based on. So Street Beat was based on 2 white guys that were on the street. And then that was called Street Beat. Our producer, which was Michael McKinnon, he was working at Rogers at the time. And he was watching some Street Beat episodes. And he said, wouldn't it be cool if we got like a show like that, something that was cheap to make, and we got people on the street. We got you guys on the street talking to whatever. So that's where it started. So
It was originally you and somebody. It wasn't Darren Jones
Darren
at
Jones
first.
wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
even though
you.
he doesn't seem to remember that, but he wasn't there yet.
Wow.
We shot an episode without Darren.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shot an episode without Darren. So it was, at first, it was supposed to be myself and a guy named Rodney Pentland.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away. He passed away from a brain aneurysm, actually.
Damn,
Some years back. But it was supposed to be the two of us. But the producers at the time didn't want Rodney, so they wanted me, but they needed somebody else. But we couldn't find that other person.
Yeah.
So Mike, the producer, who you probably saw, was filling in as the host, the co-host. So it was the two of us.
Oh, okay.
Darren called me one time. I already knew Darren from the comedy club. I met Darren at Yuck Yucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one time he called because he saw an episode and he said, "Yo, how can I get on that show?" I said, "Yo, talk to Mike. Talk to Mike. See what happened."
do.
He called Mike. Mike said, "Let's bring him up for a trial run." He was a hit, and it became us. And so what we did was we inserted segments from that day into the first episode. So they re-edited the first episode.
Yeah.
So now he's officially in the first episode.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But not original.
Yeah, because I've been hearing of reports doing it, and they're saying like he wasn't even a part of the show,
No, he wasn't
and then
even-
you kind of like vouched for him to get on the show, and he was like,
It was
"Yo."
not huge. It's not like I was vouching for him. I was
Yeah,
just
well,
like,
you were just like, "Hey,
give Mike
do
a call.
this."
Yeah, give Mike a call. Da, 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 da. It was like that. Yeah.
You're very humble about it, but like the way, no, you are humble about it. But every other story I heard, it was like, nah, Mo put him in this place, bro. Like if it's not for Mo, we don't get Darren Jones. That's the story I'm hearing.
That's what I heard
I just
too.
called my
Yeah.
boy Mike. Say, Mike, yo, just check out Darren. You know who he is. Da, 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 da.
You know what? Yo, we gotta call
But
Mike right
yeah.
now. What's his name? We gotta figure it out. We gotta figure it out. Oh, yeah.
So filming, did you guys think, or not even you guys, did you think that the show was going to be successful or as? I think it's a big show.
It was a big
yeah,
show.
like
It was
to
a
me,
huge show.
fuck, you guys got to Comedy Network. That's pretty big. Did
Yeah.
you guys think it was going to be as big, or you, when starting it, think it was going to be that?
I had no idea where that show was going because first it was it was like Street Beat.
Yeah.
Because of my involvement in the show, it evolved. That's when they started to add skits and things
yes.
of that. So that's my idea.
And that's what
So
you wanted to.
That's what because I'm a shy person. I'm
Yeah.
not great with dealing with people on the street. That was new to me. I was like,
like, whoa.
I can go on stage and I can grab a mic. I can sing, in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
But talking to people directly, that was Darren's thing.
Yeah. Just
Right.
random people too. You're just.
Yeah, that's nerve wracking for me, right? So that's Darren's thing. So what I did was, as time went on, I tried to see how many segments I could fit in, like crazy segments, like wrestlers, and
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
all that type of stuff,
Yo.
right? Back in the day that we used to do, right? We added added in the TV, the music videos,
Yeah.
Country Modi.
Yeah.
At this point, we're on Comedy Network, so Country Modi,
Fluffy the Bunny.
Thug Steel, Fluffy the Hip Hop Bunny, Hopra. Where's my money, ho?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yo, you know,
All those songs, right?
it's actually my
They're all old stand up stuff. Like that.
You know, it's actually my brother Jermaine who put me onto the show. 'Cause I was younger, so like he was more older than I was, right? So I'm younger, like studying my bro. Like you're growing up, you look up to your bro, like, okay, what's this guy watching? I'm watching you guys. I tell him like, what the hell these guys doing? You know, this guy
you
said
guys doing?
what got me hooked on the show, bro, was you did this Usher gig. It was like a bootleg.
Usher. That's right.
Bootleg Usher. I was like, I'm dancing like,
bootleg
and
Usher.
to this day, bro, that's how I even came to yo, Gussie, call Gussie. We gotta get
that was Darren's idea.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, we gotta get him on
bootleg
the show.
Usher. Saw some guy in the street that kind of doing whatever. And Darren says, "You're like a bootleg Usher." That's what, that was his idea.
So I have so many questions. So one, what was the first idea that you brought? Because you said you were bringing the skits idea. Sorry, the skits idea there. What's one of the first ideas, if you can remember, that you brought like as a skit idea?
There was the 1-800 sex talk.
Yeah.
That was probably my first idea. Yeah, we did two of them. I did one with myself and one with Gavin Stevens, big stand-up comic right now.
Shout out Gavin.
He did the second one, if I remember that correctly. But that was like the first
And
real skit that I... No, that wasn't the first. First one was probably Drag Queen Ninja.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that got me in a lot of trouble.
Is that the thing that almost got you guys fired? Or taken off the show? Because I heard there was something that...
No, you're right. Something happened during that time that almost got us taken off the show. It could have been Drag Queen Ninja. It could have been.
I'm pretty sure that probably
it was around that. It was around that time period.
Yeah,
it could have been.
You could not get away with that shit nowadays.
Yeah.
You still can.
You think so?
You still can. I think so. But the black community had a huge problem with me doing that. Yeah, it made me very unpopular for a while in the black community.
Yeah.
For me, the black community is everything. So it's like to not have the black community. That was
so your friends were trying to roll with you after they seen you.
Man, there was people that I used to roll with, and they saw me, and they would hide. And just like it didn't do much good for me on that standpoint. But overall, it led to a huge success. But but for the black community, that was a tough time period. Yeah.
Another one that was a tough time period, and I heard you say that you wish you had bodyguards for when you guys did the Ku Klux Klan one in Hamilton.
Well, I don't regret it though.
You don't regret it?
I don't regret it. That was fun. That was one of the best shoots of my life.
Oh yeah,
that opened so much for me. I don't even know what it was. I don't know what.
Why though? Why that skit in particular? Like you almost like they had the Hamilton people run you guys out of the city.
That's what I loved about it because they were so against the Klan rally thing that because they thought we were real Klan
members.
That's why. Yeah. Right, so to have them chasing us, I had to pull off my hat to show that I was a black guy, and to show that it was all a joke. Right, so I'm actually happy that Hamilton, trying to came forward and try to say, not in our town. I appreciated that, but it was one of the best shoots. It's not one of the best episodes because I felt that it could have been edited differently. That would have brought the essence of that piece. But that day was incredible. Oh my gosh, it was insane. Right?
What did you guys do when you left the city or the town of freaking Hamilton? Like when you guys left, what was on your mind? Like, yo.
We couldn't believe we even pulled that off. Because we were outside for hours trying to get the segments, trying to get the shots done and all that. But the thing that made me laugh that no one caught on that it was a clown. It's called Ku Klux Klan. And the clown, he doesn't have a problem with race. He has a problem with things like milk and chocolate being together, black and white TVs, that type of stuff. That's what he had a problem with. That was the irony of the joke. People thought it was a racist thing. It's like, no, it's not racist at all. That's the joke behind it, right? But that's what he had a problem with. Kraft dinner, cheese and macaroni together. That's what he had a problem with, right? So it's like,
yo, that was actually gold. So.
What's your favorite song from Kool Moe Dee?
From Kool Moe Dee or Country Moe Dee?
Country Moe Dee, sorry. Mine just balls.
I'm glad you said that.
Mine just balls.
Balls didn't take off like it did. Like it didn't take off like 12 inches.
Yeah, it should have.
Right? But to me, I was
balls beats hard, right? The beat, the song, balls. These all the things. Hold it, balls. Look at my balls. Look at my balls.
Yo, that song was fire. And when it didn't pick up like the other one, I was like, what? Right? But I knew there was some guys would understand, especially beat wise.
Yeah.
Because I made that beat. Most of it was done with my mouth. It was all beatboxing. And then we added some
extra
percussion after that.
Right.
But the main piece of the essence of the song was all beatboxing.
What?
That's crazy.
That's sick, yo.
Because I was doing, what was I doing? Something like that, whatever. We took it, chopped it, and layered it.
Yeah.
All that stuff. That's one of my favorites.
One
of my favorites. But one of my other favorites would be Honky Town remix, the remix for Honky Town. Yeah, that was one of my favorites. Beat-wise, is one of my favorites.
And you did all those beats.
I made all the beats. All
yours.
Country Mo D beats, all Thug Steel beats are all my beats that I made at my boy. And he still lives there now, Kevin John. He lives a few blocks away from me.
No way.
Do you still have these songs?
I have the instrumentals. I have all the instrumentals.
What?
Because all I cared about was beats.
The beats.
Because I was a beat maker. I was a hip hop junkie. So like all I did was beats. So the beats was my thing. So I have all the beats of all the songs. 12 Inches, hook wise, is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
From a hook perspective, is one of my favorites. I didn't come up with the hook though. Mike McKinnon came up with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wrote the lyrics, but he came up with the hook. So it's because of Mike why that song did what it did.
Yeah.
And also Running from Whitey is a song that I did back then. It was the part in the song where I did Run Nigga Nigga Run Nigga Nigga Run. That came from Eric. Eric came up with that idea. Yeah. I wrote the song, I made the beat, I did all that. These are some of my favorites. Yeah. Another one of my favorites was because it was more of a Timberland beat. It was Cow Crap. It was I didn't do an actual video for it, but we did like a live performance at the Rogers Studios.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite beats. There's a number of them. Those are my favorite. Another one of my favorites was when I did the collaboration where I did Country Mo D and Thug Steel. That song was called. I don't remember what the song was called, but it was one of my favorite beats. Right?
Do you remember the lyrics from any of those?
Maybe Balls.
Black Baby Mama. Black Baby Mama. I need a black key to fill quota. I'm crossing African border. I don't remember any of the lyrics. But Balls. Gosh, I can't remember Balls at the moment. But the only one I really remember is 12 Inches.
12 inch. It was the hit.
That was the biggest Country Mo D track.
So you were speaking about the editing, right? And you were saying that you felt like the Ku Klux Klan one could have been edited a certain way.
Don't get me wrong, it won us a Gemini. That episode won us a Gemini award.
Which I was going to talk about that.
So it did its thing.
Yeah, it did its thing. But you still felt like it could be edited a certain way. Were you guys editing it like when you were on Rogers? Like, did you guys have your own editing team, or did you like send stuff over?
Mike McKinnon, the Mike producer, he did all the editing.
Oh, he did everything.
He had extra additional help from because Eric was also remember Eric the what did we call Eric
I don't remember
Eric the what?
What do we call him? Silent Eric? What do we call him? I don't know why I don't remember this stuff. It's been so long, like I haven't done Buzz in 20 years.
Yeah, I know.
But Eric, he who was one of our cameramen, there was a few people, and there was another guy too that was part of it. But Mike did most of the editing.
Okay, and that stayed that way too when you guys moved over to Comedy Network.
Mike
too?
was part of the process from the beginning to the end.
Oh, okay,
from the beginning to the end. The only reason why the editing came out a certain way because Mike wasn't at the shoot that day. So his takes looking at footage was different.
Yeah, so he doesn't understand. Okay, this part.
If he was there, he would have got the inside scoop of where to take it.
Yeah,
because his editing was like prime. Like he knew his stuff, but he wasn't there that day. So he was just looking at the footage that he received, and he had to make something out of the footage. I should have been in the room to say, grab this raw footage here and make something out of that. But I was hardly ever in the space during those times.
Has anybody ever asked to like use one of your characters in a music video or anything like outside of just like Buzz? Like somebody was like, "Yo, bring Country More, Hip Hop Bunny should be on this music video for me," or can you bring him along?
I don't recall. I don't think so. But there was a time. What was that hip hop group? They called again
From Toronto?
Yeah.
Ghetto Concept?
Not Ghetto Concept. Keep naming a few.
The Rascals?
Not Rascals.
No, that's from BC.
B's coming to my mind.
Vegas! Hip Hop Toronto groups.
Or at least Canadian.
Canadian Toronto groups. Start naming some. Ghetto Concept.
Brass Monk?
Brass Monk.
Brass Monks, right?
Yeah.
I hit those guys up one time. Like I was such a fan of Brass Monks, right?
Yeah.
I was a huge fan. I hit them up one time. Try to see if I can like work with these guys or whatever. These guys never called me back. Yeah, but I was a huge fan like for Canadian hip hop. Those were my guys. But yeah, they didn't respond to nothing. But that was probably the closest. But no. We were trying to do a tour. We were trying to do a tour with Baby Blue Sound Crew.
Oh yeah,
back in the day, but that didn't go through. That didn't work out. But their manager was trying to get us on the road with them. So we would have opened up for them, or
that's dope. Like a DJ sound crews looking at like a comedy, guys that are on comedy shows, and like to open up for them. That's so creative.
And we would have used all that raw footage, like just interacting with them in their groups,
and put it in an episode.
We would have put it in, or even more than one episode.
Yeah.
So how come that didn't go through? Like was like
there were so many deals that were going on behind the scenes that just didn't happen. So a few of them did happen. We were supposed to do a sponsorship with PlayStation, a partnership or sponsorship with PlayStation that didn't go through.
So like
oh gosh, there's so many stuff. I'm so disappointed because there's money down the drain. There's money down the drain. Oh,
hold on,
God,
a deal with PlayStation. What is that looking like? Like a Buzz TV show?
No, that was like, it was a series.
Or a Buzz game, sorry?
No, it was like a series of commercials or something like that they wanted done of us involved with PlayStation, but we didn't even get that far in.
Okay.
I think it was only like 2 meetings. We didn't get that far in, and it got thrown out, and that was it. Yeah. Okay. I used to get these calls all the time, say, guess who's interested? And we're like, I'm looking at the money, and then... So after a while, I just didn't care, because I'm like, it's not going to happen anyway. But a couple of things did happen. So, did a couple of commercials, things of that sort. But management, it could have, not management, but our production company, things could have gone, if they weren't so out of the loop, there's so many things that could have happened. There was some interest in different countries that wanted to buy the rights to Buzz, or at least borrow the rights to Buzz. I can't remember if it was South Africa. There was a few places.
Wow.
But none of them happened. None of them took place. We didn't even get to DVD. None of that stuff. None of that stuff took place.
Why do you think that happens?
Well, there was a lot of stuff that was going on. Something happened where, because the production company that had us also had Tom Green's old stuff before he went to MTV.
Oh, okay.
Tom Green was their guy before he moved on.
Right.
And then they had to find a replacement. We became the replacement.
It was like the Backstreet Boys. Yeah. It's like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
That's right.
Right. Okay.
So he went on to MTV. We came on to Comedy Network. So with and they were older, right? They didn't know anything about what was hip amongst young people. They didn't realize how big the show was. We could have made $1 million off DVD alone if we put our minds to that. But something happened where they owed money. Something happened. I can't go too much into it. I don't want to get in trouble for this, but something happened. They're working on another project that I won't say. A couple of famous people that we know were involved in it. Something happened on a personal level, and when she needed that person to sign off on the project to clear whatever money with the banks that the money was owed to get her back, he decided not to sign. So she owed $1 million.
Wow.
Production company or whatever, something like she owed $1 million. And because she owed $1 million and she didn't have, the only collateral that she had was all past shows, like the Tom Green Show, Buzz, Game Face, I think was another one that she was doing, and a few others. So they held all that in possession until they got their money back. So they had to file for, as far as I know, they had to file for bankruptcy. So because our show was put in that pile, we couldn't do anything else with the show afterwards. We couldn't do DVDs. We couldn't do none of that stuff. And all that stuff was stuck with the bank.
And that's kind of the reason why it's hard to see anything. Like, it's rare to find a full episode on the net. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could go on YouTube, you can find, like, you find pieces.
You find bits and pieces.
But you won't find, like, the whole from season 1 to season 9.
There was a person, though, that did tape everything and put all the episodes on, but it wasn't clear on the titles.
Yeah.
It's probably still there. It was a guy that used to work at the strip joint. He was like a manager at the strip joint. And he sent me a link of all the episodes. I went through them. They were all there. Wow. From season 1 to season...
Every episode was there.
Oh,
shit.
Yeah, but I don't know where my mind was at that time and whatever. But he was like the one guy. I don't know if he put him up or he found the link to someone who put him up. But he brought it back to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where was the best place to film? Was because like you guys went all over, like Hamilton, Ottawa, different places.
Ottawa, we went to Vancouver. We went to Germany. We went to England.
You guys did wrestling events. I remember there was one time where there was the guy against against Darren Jones. You guys had him in the ring, and they were having like the sumo suits on.
Yeah.
I wasn't there that day.
No, you there.
You sure?
Yeah, it was
wasn't there.
You said you sure?
I
You were
wasn't
there
bro.
because it was like an Indian looking short guy against Darren Jones, and then you were supposed to back up Darren Jones, and you're like, yeah, Darren's gonna kick your ass. Like you were supposed to give him some hype.
You're a fan, so you know. Like, you know. I'm like, I wasn't there. I was there.
Yeah,
I was there.
You were there. 100%.
But all the other events, I wasn't there for. So maybe I was there for that one, but I wasn't there for the other events.
Okay.
But something happens, and they were pissed off at Darren for something that he did that he wasn't supposed to do, and whatever, and so they kind of banned us.
Wow, what did he do?
I don't, because I wasn't there. I wasn't there. So something went down.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they kind of prep you.
Yeah.
You can do this, but you can't talk about that.
I
think it's something that Darren talked about anyway, and taped it and whatever, and they were pissed off about it. So
and you gotta remember, Darren was a young guy. Like,
yeah.
He seemed like he was more the wild boy. Like you were more. Okay, strategic.
He got us in trouble a number of times, but vice versa. Vice versa. I had my share too.
Okay,
yeah, but something happened between him and whatever, and we were banned from doing anything with the wrestling foundation or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with Darren now?
I haven't seen Darren. We still talk, but I haven't actually personally seen him since 2004.
Wow.
Our last shoot. We had to do some fill-ins or something, and that was the last time I saw him back in 2004.
He's on the radio now, I think, right?
Yeah,
he's on the radio now. Yeah.
Yeah.
They hit me up just the other day. Like I talked to him once in a while. I haven't through IG.
Yeah.
I haven't actually spoken to him on the phone. But all IG.
But the
social
IG
media
him
stuff.
up. That's
Well,
good.
I
still my boy.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm so removed from the industry.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my boy. That's
you don't
my man.
think, I know it's 20 years. I know you're in a completely different place, but even for like 10, 15 minutes to give people like a reunion just to talk about stuff that
We talked about a reunion.
That'd be sick.
We did talk about this about 5 years ago.
At Yuck Yucks.
anywhere. I think they don't like. I don't even want like. It could be just them two, a camera put in front of them, and they just talk. Like you get a 20-year, 25-year reunion episode,
that'd
or
be cool.
Speaking about like the costumes, you when you had dreads or braids.
I would
and
love
stuff.
back in the day, right? Yeah, when I had dreads. No, I'd love to do like a documentary. I have no problems with that. We were actually supposed to shoot. We were thinking about doing a full season.
Yeah,
of like a reunion season.
A reunion season.
But
we couldn't. When we all decided we would do this, at least have meetings about it. We couldn't find Darren because I think he got a new radio gig at the time, and he just didn't want to do it. But he was down for it at first.
Do you think like he's kind of outgrown it? Like, do you guys feel like it's just like you don't want to go back to that kind of because it was maybe a higher?
We've all outgrown it.
Yeah, obviously, clearly.
Yeah, we've outgrown it. But maybe there's a different angle that we could have gone about it, being in our older age. Maybe. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, wouldn't it be cool if we did that again?
yeah,
I don't know where we would go about it, but that's where we're going to have the meeting. We're just going to have the meeting to see is there any room for this?
Like,
But I'm in a different space. He's in a different space.
But you even giving back to some of the younger comedians, sketch comedy guys that are coming up from Canada, Toronto, you guys could
Well, I do this now. I do meet with young comics and I teach them how to write and stuff.
Okay.
I do that. Yeah,
who's somebody right now that we should be looking out for, like a young comic that you've worked with, or just that even somebody that you've seen and you're like, yo, this guy's gonna be dope, or girl?
There's one guy. I met him in a group setting. I just don't remember his name. Oh my gosh, what's his name?
E.
Can't remember his name at the moment, but there's one guy who I saw it. I said, yes, I think this guy's got it. Like from a star standpoint.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish I could remember. I'd hail him up right now. I just can't remember his name.
So take me through the transition now. We had all the fun with Buzz. Unless you got any more Buzz questions.
This is the one. Yeah, go. This is good part.
Go ahead,
I got
yeah.
my stuff out there. I'm glad.
So yeah,
I'll answer anything if I can remember.
Yeah, that you can remember. So the last episode happens now. Are you informed that this is going to be the last season, the last episode?
Yeah, we had a meeting about it. They
Okay.
called the Comedy Network called us in for a meeting, and we all settled and we agreed on this would be our last season.
And I want to say, I'm going to go out of my way to assume it's a money thing. Like, you guys were getting too big, and they're like, you're asking,
It's always a money thing.
You got to ask for more.
Yeah, there's a limit that Comedy Network can go, and you can't work for the same amount. So
Facts.
So you automatically get kind of pushed out because we're not going over this budget. This is our budget,
Yeah.
and this is what we set aside for each show. We can't go beyond that. It's totally understandable. So at some point you have to walk.
So take me through like, okay, production's done, everything's done, or not even that. The episode's out. The last final episodes, whatever.
Which I haven't seen, by the way. I haven't seen any episodes from the last 2 seasons.
No, why not?
I don't even know what's out there.
Why? Yeah, why not?
I was meditating. So after that,
yeah. So for the last 2 years, you're already in a different
mindset.
True.
So I didn't. Back in the day, I would every Sunday or whatever the show was on, I would watch every episode just so I can get ideas and see where to go with them. Last 2 seasons, I was in a different place. So I would do my segments. I'd work, shoot all my segments, and whatever they did with them is what they did with them. Anything I know about those 2 seasons is what people have told me, but I haven't seen them personally.
So for you, like what, like was it like just a switch, or you just like woke up and like what was it like that made you say, you know what, I'm just gonna start meditating, or just even made you wake up in a whole different like mind state?
Well, the meditation thing I started only because one of my dear close friends, Andrea Bain, who's on The Social.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So if you go to Social right now, she's there.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I remember having a conversation with her because we were close, right? But back in the day, I was having a conversation with her about she was telling me about that she tried hypnosis or something like that to deal with something. And I said, I would love to try hypnosis to help me with auditions. I'm shitty at auditions. Not my thing. Yeah. You either trust me and you give me the part, whatever, but I'm not gonna
read a bunch of lines.
I'm not gonna do well in an audition. So I said maybe I had to do some stage fright, whatever that I had to deal with. So I said, I asked her, would it be a good idea if I did a hypnotherapist for that? So she said you should give it a shot. So I went and I found hypnosis, a hypnotherapist, and started working with the hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
And they introduced me to light and sound machines. So light and sound machines are a way to entrains the brain to mimic meditation or hypnotic states and things of that sort.
Okay.
So I got really interested in these machines. So I bought these machines and I started to use it. Because you also can use it for creativity, brainstorming, things of that sort, right?
Okay.
So I would use it to write jokes and come up with ideas and all that stuff. So I was playing with those machines for a while, and then later on, a lot of great things started happening. Like just these amazing states would come out of it, and my writing got better. I was able to improv on the spot. Like all these great things were happening with my brain. So I just wanted to take it deeper, and that's how I got into meditation. So I found a meditation program that uses that same type of technology, but at a more advanced level. So that's what did it. So after meditating with this thing for a while, and all these strange things started to happen. One day I woke up and I was drunk, and I'm not. People who know me, I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. But I woke up drunk one day, like pissed drunk.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is this? Or if I did try to drink alcohol, I couldn't get drunk. So all these weird things started happening.
Whoa.
So that's what I got distracted. So I started dealing with all that stuff, and it was helping me with my emotional health and all that type of stuff. So that's what did it. But the big thing didn't happen until years after leaving Buzz. But during that time period, all these things were happening. I'd wake up in bliss, wake up in crying, or waking up drunk, or waking up high. All that type of stuff were happening. So I was so intrigued by the process of what would happen with this type of technology. So I kept playing with that for every day. Actually, I haven't stopped. I haven't missed a day for almost 22 years.
Wow, dope.
I've done this every single day for 22 years at different levels, at the deeper stages, the deeper levels, to the point where I finished the whole entire program.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's where it all started. And so after when Buzz ended, I did try to work on another show, 2 other shows actually. Made a pilot for it, a small pilot for a show idea was called Molosophy. And
Molosophy, I like that.
That came on Comedy Shorts on the Comedy Network. And then I had another show idea I was going to do with Gavin Stevens, but the producers were playing around with that idea. And after I said, you know what, forget it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
The industry, you're kind of over the industry.
Like, you know what? After everything we've done, and like we've won a Gemini for Best Writing, second year.
Yeah.
We were nominated for Gemini for Best TV Production. Third year, I was nominated for Favorite Comedian in Canada.
Wow.
And all that stuff, I still had to, push myself through the doors. I said, you know what? I'm not doing all this. I feel like I'm starting all over again. I'm not doing any of that. So I just said, you know what? Forget it. I did a few other projects after that, but after that I took 2 years off just to raise my 2 boys at the time.
Nice.
And then I decided to go into nonprofit. So I went to the nonprofit sector, and I've been doing that. That's how I met one of your guests that was here earlier. She was one of my youth.
Dope.
Working in Malvern in Scarborough.
That's proper.
Yeah.
Have your kids ever watched Buzz or any of your stand-up stuff?
They've seen episodes. They haven't seen full episodes. They've seen segments.
The segment, yeah,
on YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah,
figures.
Yeah, but they found out through their teachers.
Yeah.
Your dad is a legend.
Yeah, that's how they kind of
They're like, Daddy, really?
Yeah, they were just like, we know him as Dad.
Yeah.
But there was teachers that used to school my kids and said, do you know who your father is? And so they have an idea. Yeah, that hasn't gone away. That's still going on till today. I still get fan mail, even though I haven't done this show in over 20 years.
But that just shows like how dope it was. Like Mo, like I know you're a super humble guy, I can tell. But like, oh sorry, Morgan. But like it's like
you can still call me. It's all good. Just put up on the screen, just put up.
But yeah, like honestly, same thing like Bingo was saying. Like my older bro used to watch this show, and I used to like sneak because I wasn't around to stay up and watch certain shows that he was watching late at night.
Yeah.
So when I remember just watching and seeing the bunny, and he was there like getting gal them, and he went up to one of the little kids and then like, oh yeah, I know your mom, and you know what I'm saying, this might be one of my kids, and like it was just so.
Shout out to Jean Paul, by the way. He played the character.
Oh, Jean Paul that played
Jean-Paul
that was in the actual suit.
Yeah,
that's what I meant to ask you too.
Yeah.
So you were just doing the audio to it, or
No,
he's
doing the audio. Fluffy the Hip Hop Bunny is our idea.
Oh,
Mike McKinnon and myself came up with that idea. He wanted me to play it. I said no. I think Jean Paul would be the better fit because he had the voice for it.
So the whole time I'm thinking that it was you in there.
Everybody thought it was me.
I thought that.
Because I heard somewhere where you said it was Jean Paul or somebody in the suit, but I'm like, hold on. Like in the suit in that episode, not the whole time.
Whole time.
The whole time it was him.
Done every time you see Fluffy the Hip Hop Bunny, that was him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Humping up the place.
Talking to different animals, like you understand what they be saying. Yo, dog, what's going on?
Because the thing is with me, I'm really good at choosing talent. It's one of the things I'm really, really good at.
Yeah.
I can see, I can listen to how you sound,
Yeah.
How you act, your personality traits, and I can figure things out. I'm good at casting. So anytime an idea would come up, I'm like, yeah, I can play the character, but I'm like, no, you know what though? This comic who I've been working with for years would do a better job at it. And for those who don't know Jean Paul, the guy who's beside me when I'm playing Country Mo D, my hype man,
that's him. That's Jean Paul,
right? But he's playing Fluffy.
Okay.
Yeah. There was another character that he did. It was Chocolate Shakespeare. I thought that was going to take off like crazy because the same guy, whatever, just with that attitude, with that character, that one didn't take off. But I think if we played it more, if we had it involved in more episodes, I think it would have took off because it was one of those characters I thought was brilliant coming from Jean Paul.
Yeah, but yeah, just going back to it, like it was such a legendary. Like me and Vegas complain all the time that we don't have Toronto content. Like there's no original ideas being like TV shows, movies, nothing being out of here. So the fact that you and Darren Jones from like now 20 years, people are still talking about you guys. We're trying to interview you, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really a staple.
People find me on social media. People, just like yourself, like everyone just.
Yeah.
That's where people will find me now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was MySpace that people used to find me.
Yeah,
Facebook.
MySpace,
But everyone used to find me on MySpace. That's how I knew that we could have sold like 1 million copies with DVDs.
100%.
Because everybody was asking for them, and we had nothing to provide. So
even to this day, that's what. Yeah, you're 100% right. That I think somebody dropped the ball on that.
Yeah, that's
100.
So, Mess, to watch all these deals just slip through your fingers, it grieves me. I can't even. I don't even have the words to even express how much that burns me.
Yeah, now I can see why you meditate.
That would cheese me too. That was what a waste.
So for somebody like me who has, I want to say I have ADHD, like it's hard for me to like sit down there and concentrate on something for like 10, 15 minutes. How should I go about meditating if I want to start meditation? What would you say is like a good thing to start or for anybody to start?
Well, we're in a new age now. Right, so as much as everybody knows how meditation works, what you're speaking about is one way of meditating, but there's a million different ways. Okay. And as I was talking about earlier, I was talking about binaural beats. I was talking about brainwave entrainment.
Yes,
brainwave entrainment is an easier way for people to get the meditative results without doing all that work. Okay. So you still have to sit there. You still have to have your eyes closed, but you can be thinking about anything you want to be thinking about, or if you want, whenever you feel like doing, you can do a traditional meditation practice along with it. But this stuff does the work for you.
Okay.
Right, it's like a meditation template. It will take your brain it will synchronize the two hemispheres of your brain, just like what meditation does. It will slow down your brain waves. And when your brain waves slow down, it can mimic the same brain waves as meditation brain waves. And if you do this every day, you'll get all the results and even more because it's consistent. And you can get all the results. So all the things you ever heard about meditation, I'm not talking about just necessarily the mental health stuff.
Yeah.
I'm talking about spiritual awakening. I'm talking about enlightenment. I'm talking about Kundalini awakenings.
Yeah.
All that stuff can happen with this technology.
Well, with Gutsy's brain, he might backfire again with something else. I don't know.
Backfire?
No, my brain. Like, I always say I'm one of the most creative guys in the world, right? So who knows what that would open up with me?
Well, everyone has it. Everyone has it. So if anyone was doing this meditation process for a number of years, anyone can have this type of breakthrough. I had my first true, genuine breakthrough in the first 5 years.
Okay.
But the one that I had that was the most miraculous experience of my entire life happened 5 years ago.
Okay.
So that was 16 and a half years in at the time.
Wow.
Right?
So is it like certain sets of like chambers you have to go through, or is it like is it like a peak, or just like you just keep going, like it's like a labyrinth or something?
In terms of the breakthroughs?
Yeah.
Like
It's like something like a higher chase, not really a high, but like something like, okay, you get that breakthrough, like wow, like are you trying to like find the next level to that, or is it something
that
like,
can happen because it's such a, when you have one of those experiences, that experience alone will change you.
Yeah.
Right. So that happened 5 years in, 5-6 years in. That happened for me 5-6 years in. But in that experience, for anyone who wants to know what that's like, that's when you have a glimpse of what it means to be the entire universe. Right. You get a glimpse of what it means to be God.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You get a glimpse that God exists and God doesn't exist at the same time. You get a glimpse of that.
Right.
You get the glimpse of coming to realize that there is this empty witness that is aware of all things, and everything that's aware of, it's creating. It's the manifestation of everything that ever existed. So in that moment, you get a glimpse of that. As time goes on, it gets deeper and it gets deeper.
Wow.
By the time, now that I'm at that time, I was 16 and a half years in that moment, I had the experience where I was absolutely everyone, everything.
Whoa.
I was every grain of sand. You know this in detail.
God's
every
eye.
grain of sand.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to see. That's the thing. This is one thing I want people to understand. You become aware of absolutely everything in the entire universe, because the entire universe is you, not just this universe, but all the multiverses.
Yeah.
All of it is you. You have the experience and the awareness of being absolutely everyone that's ever lived. Now, I'm not just talking about people who are alive now.
Wow.
I'm talking about anyone who's ever lived in any universe or any planet. Every planet, you realize that you're that. Every speck of dirt, you realize that you're that. You realize that you're every raindrop. You realize that you're every ocean. You realize that you're every cell, every molecule, every atom, every particle, every subatomic particle, absolutely everything.
Wow.
Everything opens up. And everything, in my case anyway, in that moment, everything in my entire body burst. But when I say my entire body, I'm really talking about the universe.
Right, right.
Everything burst in with a loud voice, and every language said, I am God.
Wow.
The most miraculous, profound experience of my entire life. It actually was so profound, it traumatized me in a good way.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
oh, so like you have to take any like supplement. Like I know some people do the ayahuasca stuff to get this type of like certain experience. Like is there anything similar to that?
This wasn't with anything.
Yeah.
But a lot of experiences that I did have was with ayahuasca and DMT and 5-meo DMT and LSD and all that stuff. I did all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in this moment, I was just meditating with the energy.
Wow.
That's the product that I have that I created.
That's sick.
Which was inspired from what happened in my first 5 years.
Wow.
So that was inspired by a mathematician by the name of Marco Rodin, who came up with this math called vortex-based mathematics. So there's an algorithm of the universe is 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. So if you understand how this algorithm works, you can apply it to anything. So I chose to apply to binaural beats, brainwave entrainment. Because if it's true that the algorithm is 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, and I'll explain in a sec what that means. That means the subconscious mind would know what that is. So I incorporated that with sound.
Yeah.
And with my meditation, I played that with my sound every single day until I broke.
Wow.
Right. But 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 represents the doubling system. There's 1, double 1 is 2, double 2 is 4, double 4 is 8, double 8 is 16, double 16 is 32. You crunch those double digit numbers, into a single number, and you'll get into infinity 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 into infinity.
Wow.
Right. So by learning how to use that math, and it's in everything. It's in computers. It's in your phone. The math is in mitosis. The moment that you were conceived, and you were one cell, and you broke into 2 cells, and then the 4, and then the 8, and the 16, and the 32. Break it down to single digit numbers. Same number: 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 into infinity.
Wow.
Right. That's the number of the universe. So I figure out how to apply that to sound.
That's deep.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
yo, that's
Because as you already know, I'm a creative guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the reason why I kind of left out everything is because I realized that I could take my creativity to something that was beyond comedy, something that was beyond entertainment. I just didn't know what it was at the time yet. Because all the stuff that's happening now, like you see, like YouTube, I thought of that idea when I was doing Buzz.
Wow.
I just didn't see it in that form, something that would be on the internet. But I thought of that same idea just on TV. If you had a TV network with that same type of stuff, I thought of that stuff. Doing segments at home and shooting like on Zoom.
Yeah.
I thought of all that stuff while I was doing Buzz.
Wow.
That's how my mind works.
Yo.
So I was able to take my creative mind that I have and applied it to mathematics. I used to suck at math, but at some point, math started to kick in. And I applied what I learned through mathematics and I applied it to sound because I realized how sound worked in regards to sound physics. And I applied what I learned from binaural beat technology to this algorithm. And then once I created that, all the stuff that I wanted to happen happened. Wow. And not just for me, for the hundreds thousands of people now that are using it. Few people out of that group has said the same thing.
Dope.
Right? So it's one of those things where people around the world now are using my my products in 27 countries?
Wow.
Proper.
Yeah, so all that stuff came out of it, but that's just the kind of mind I have.
I might need that to play the lottery, yo.
No, you will never win the lottery with this method. But
1, 2, 4, 5, 6. You know,
I don't think that will work.
You know what? I used to believe in this, like the way the courts and stuff work is like by the threes. I was like, they'll give you 3 years. You get everything 2 for 1. That's 3. Then like it was just like this weird.
No, you're on to something because the numbers are 3, 6, and 9s.
Oh my god!
Yeah. 3 is one of the sacred numbers out of the 3 numbers. 3, 6, and 9s. So if you take multiplication, take the 9 times tables. If you take those numbers, crunch them down to single digit numbers, those numbers will always be 9. Right? If you do that, there are 3 times tables and the 6 times tables, you'll always get 3, 6, 9 or 6, 9, 3. When you crunch those numbers down to a single digit number. Yeah, so you have to understand the properties of those 3 numbers. Yeah. And once you understand those 3 numbers, you have the key to the universe.
Wow.
That's wild.
If you know how to apply it.
So I got the mailbox key to the numbers.
By you figuring out 3?
Yeah.
So if you take any number, how does this work? If you take any number, any triple digit number that's the same number, like 111, 222, 333, 666, what those numbers are. Yeah. Crunch those down to a single digit number. You always get 3, 6, or 9 every single time without fail.
I'm not even lying.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. You'll always get 3, 6, or a 9. That's how important those numbers are. So you got to know how to apply it with different types of technologies. So even your computers, pixels, all that stuff is based on that math. They just didn't know they were using the math.
Wow. I'm almost there. I'm going to close my eyes and start floating in this bitch. You understand? Yo, trust me. Some Dalzim shit, yo.
Right? You're onto something. If you figured out 3, right, all you needed was the 6 and the 9, you were almost there. And any other way to look at it, 3s are always 6s and 6 are always 3s. So the number 9 is a magic number, so it's a very magical thing. So all the numbers mirror each other. So 1 mirrors 8, 2 mirrors 7, 3 mirrors 6, 4 mirrors 5, and so on. Right? So if you understand how these properties work, you can apply it to different forms of technologies and things of that sort.
Wow. I just don't have to go back there to learn, but that's pretty dope. Wow.
Yeah. The realization thing, is that something that happened to you when you dissolved your ego? Because I hear you talking about this dissolving the ego.
Yeah, well, 16 and a half years in, which happened on December 14th of 2019. That was the day that it happened. That's when my ego fully dissolved on that day. It's back now because you can't stay there.
Yeah,
you'll be psychologically dead, right? But in that moment is when that happened to that degree. I've had many cases of dissolving the ego, but this was a full ego death at that point.
Explain to me what an ego death would be. For somebody like me, like I feel like I'm in the entertainment industry, I have to have an ego somewhat to be in this industry. Well, at least that's how I feel.
No, you're right. But that's you having that's an egoic property.
Okay.
Right. Your ego is your sense of self. So that sense of self that's your ego.
Yeah.
Right. So now your ego has properties. So like it could be egoic. It could be conceited. It could be humble. It could be, that's the properties of an ego.
Yo.
Yeah. So everyone has an ego. You can't operate, you can't do anything without an ego. But what you can do, you can have a more
balanced ego.
You can have a more balanced, you can have a more mature ego. You can have a transparent ego. Those are cool things to have, as opposed to having an ego full with childhood traumas, or having an ego with a grandiose sense of self, thinking that you're bigger than you actually are, being delusional. Those are conditions or results of an ego.
The childhood trauma thing is something that, it's everywhere, and people don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to speak about it, and then they hold on to it, and then they release it in either like physical ways, other ways that end up harming other people. How do we get to that point of somebody just expressing themselves for some of the childhood trauma that they've gone through? Because a lot of we know, whether it's being like so your family members doing something to you, or seeing something, like we don't, especially as Black people, we don't speak about it. How do we get to that point of just opening up? Is that going back to the ego thing of just letting go and just expressing yourself, not caring of the backlash or what anybody has to say or feel? Like,
well, the ego is very multifaceted, as you know, right? It's the most complex thing that the mind's producing, right? I practiced and studied integral theory from this philosopher by the name of Ken Wilber. So in this philosophy, they're broken down into 4 different things. There's growing up, waking up, cleaning up, and showing up. So waking up is what I just talked about, having a spiritual awakening.
Yes.
That's the waking up. So anything falls into that category, like out-of-body experiences, astral traveling, things of that sort. Spiritual awakening is like one of the highest thing that could happen. That's called Turiya. And then there's a thing called Tita, which is the non-dual experience, which I was just talking about, the death of the ego, and you realize that you're absolutely everything in the entire universe. That's called Tita. All right? So that's waking up. Growing up now is the maturity of the ego. So every human being goes through stages of development, of psychological development. But most human beings stop at a certain level. But with effort and intention, you can pass that level where you can reach higher levels of psychological development. And there's about 8 levels, from archaic all the way up to super integral. And then you have cleaning up, which is what you're talking about, that you can put yourself in a position where maybe you're going through therapy, maybe you're doing shadow work, maybe you're drinking ayahuasca, maybe you're taking iboga. Iboga is a even more powerful substance than ayahuasca.
Oh yeah.
Which would help you with the cleaning up process. So not everyone's going to go and do ayahuasca or iboga, but you'll get some people that will go through the therapy process. They'll do therapy, and it's a longer process, but it's very beneficial for the ego to open up, to let go of past wounds, to dig deep into the soul and try to release unresolved issues. Therapy would help with that. Shadow work would help with dark shadows, dealing with the dark shadows. Anything that triggers you is caused by a dark shadow, right? So shadow work would help with that.
Yeah.
But if you want a faster route, which is a lot more harsh, there's ayahuasca, there's iboga, all right? And then there's people like me that will combine the two of those. I do my meditation sessions, and then once in a while you may go and meet a shaman and do ayahuasca or do iboga to help with all that other stuff. I went through that process too. I haven't done full doses of iboga. I've done microdoses of iboga. I'm actually on iboga right now as we speak. So.
Are you?
Oh yeah, I'm on it right now.
Maybe that's why you can't remember some of the stuff.
No, that's not.
You got any more on you?
Was that?
You got any more on you?
No, I don't have. I don't walk around with it.
Okay.
But I take iboga just to help with the microdosing process. Any of the stuff that's coming up.
Yeah.
There's another thing. There's called the dark night of the soul, and that iboga helps with dealing with that stuff when that stuff comes up to the surface.
Yeah.
But in regards to ayahuasca, I went through the many stages.
Right.
Meeting with a shaman, dealing with the ayahuasca thing.
Right.
And one moment, at some point, something broke where I felt like I didn't need ayahuasca anymore. So I haven't done an ayahuasca session in about 6 years.
Okay.
Is it almost 6 years now? About 6 years, yeah.
Yo, that's actually dope.
Yeah, but it helps with a lot of childhood trauma and all that type of stuff, so you can live.
Okay.
All right?
You trust me.
A lot of us don't get to do that because, of course, going to even see a therapist, that's considered to be taboo. And a lot of our communities. But it's needed. Everybody needs.
Yes, everybody needs.
There's nothing wrong having a therapist.
I even think that the whole world needs to be needs to have therapy, because they locked us up for like a year and a half, and they just let everybody out. And I always talk about that. Like, you don't think that like that's a problem? Like, imagine if people in jail, I say it all the time, when you release somebody from jail, and instead of like worrying about this and that and the third, let them get a job and let them get like therapy every once a week.
They would need therapy.
Yeah. Like, they're just, especially these guys that are been locked up for like years, not just like the 6 months. Who knows? Yeah. Everybody might need it. But like the COVID thing really, that bugged me, that you just let like you told everybody that they had to stay inside, they have to wear a mask, all these things.
Yeah.
And then you just let them back in the world with not checking up on them if they're okay. If some people lost jobs.
There's some resources that they do get, but it's still, it's like, it's bare minimum, right?
Sure.
And then this guy's but then we would have to go out and find them. It's not like, right? It's not like they're just publicly showing you like, hey, publicizing, thank you. Like, yo, this is out there. Like, you guys should sign up, look at it. There's none of it out there. So yeah.
And I used to go into the detention centers, and I used to work with them. I used to work with the youth.
Oh yeah.
Detention centers. Myself and one of my best friends, who used to be a police officer, we used to go in every week and work with the youth. And even up till recently, I was working with a guy in detention for a year.
Yeah. Wow.
For a year. He got released a year ago into a transitional house. He's probably still there now, because I think he has another year left. But yeah, I go in there. Actually, I'm not one of those guys who just come up with ideas. I actually go in there and I
talk to them.
I do this actual work as when I went in as a youth worker. That's what I did.
That's dope. We need again more people like you in the world.
I call you doctor now, man.
Dr.
I wish, but
I know you got. I don't want to. We would keep you here forever, but I know you got a lot going on. Can you talk to us about some of the foundations that you're working on? I know you have a book too, as well. You're authoring
I'm
a
working
book?
on a second book.
Oh, nice.
So the book I have out now is called Bodhi in the Brain, and that's basically a book about my meditation program, Eunergy.
Yeah.
That I've been working with people for the last how old is Eunergy? For the last Eunergy is 14 years old. I think it's 14 years old now.
Yeah.
Right, and all the people that I've worked with, people in Japan, Israel, Germany, Holland, of course Canada, United States. The list goes on of all the different countries, the people that I've been working with. Scotland. Yeah, I just found out the other day I have someone in Scotland.
Jeez.
Wow.
So I have that book, Bodhi in the Brain, which is out. How Eunergy works, what it's about, how did it start, what does it do, the benefits that it has. I'm working on another book right now. I can't say the title just yet because the title is still subject to change. I'm working on a book right now, but I'm also working on a stand-up comedy writing book.
Nice.
For young comics. That's in co-partnership with Ronnie Edwards, veteran comedian Ronnie Edwards. We're working on that book together. It's right now it's in the rough stages. I'm almost finished a rough draft of the book. And
Proper.
That's sick.
And I have a whole bunch of other book ideas that are sitting there once I get around to it. Being that creative is also a curse.
Right?
It's hard to get all this stuff done.
Yeah.
Also, too, you were named person to look at for 2025. One of the personalities.
Yes.
World's Leaders.
World's Leaders magazine.
Yeah, they said world's most inspiring personalities to follow in 2025. Mr. Morgan O. Smith. How did that feel?
Jeez.
My brain, I see it, I see it, and I'll use it for marketing purposes. That doesn't really do anything to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. I get these things all the time.
You already seen it coming 10 years ago.
I'm so used to being in that space, right?
Yeah.
So I have that's one out of many of people who've acknowledged the work that I've been doing globally, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not just a community thing.
Yeah.
I'm at this globally, so I'm grinding, but I've been at this for so many years. It's not only just now recently that I'm being recognized for doing my meditation stuff. Because the reason why that's happened because the people in India and all that who are into this type of stuff, they've taken notice. So it helps,
I think that's our next step, guys. We got to go globally now.
Global.
Yeah,
we do enough for our community enough as it is.
Yeah, you still do it. Still do all the stuff for your community.
But now
all the other stuff is global. Right? It's
Taking it to the
global.
next level.
You'd be amazed how many things that people don't take for granted out of your own out of your own bubble.
That's
right.
so
That's where all this stuff is coming from. And there's more to come. There's probably 2 other magazines that still haven't published
your stuff yet.
A feature. I'm featuring on 2 other magazines.
Wow.
Yeah, that should be coming out. But I've been doing so much work with people around the country, around the world.
Yeah.
That at some point someone's gonna
Bro, that's big, man. That's big. Still, holy.
Yeah, but it doesn't do anything. I don't feel any way. I don't feel like I don't even say yes. I see it. I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I'll put it out there because it's my job to do that as a marketing and branding myself. But yeah, I don't feel anything.
It's funny you said that because like we just recently did a interview with a pretty big guest, one of our biggest guests, I'd say. And
who
like,
was that?
Chromas. I don't know if you've heard of her. Toronto artist Chromas.
I may know her by face.
You'll definitely know her by face.
Okay.
But
cool.
The whole time I was just like, I wasn't stressing it, but I was like, damn, I really wish if she would just repost this in her story. Like, you don't have to repost, just repost that the interview is out in the story. And then like I seen her do it today, and I was just like,
it felt good, eh?
I did the you, but I did it in my head. I was just like, well, I shouldn't say that's not what you do. I was just like, yes, but I did it in my head.
You did it in your head.
Yeah, I was just like, that's
you
it.
want,
like,
want that though.
Yeah,
you want that push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you
Especially
feel like
being
you're on the right path. You're doing the right things.
Yeah.
The people that you're working with see you doing the right things.
Oh yeah. So you want that stuff out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just do what you do, right? But I have to stay humble with these things because the last thing you want to do is start to believe your own hype. Right? That can ruin you too.
Bars.
Right? And as much as these great pieces come out, there's always someone who's out to get you as well. So like, you know what I mean? It's a juggling act. So I don't let the good stuff get to me because right around the corner there's someone ready to bite my ass, right? So yeah, so I just stay balanced with everything.
Yeah, and too for the people out there, your words are very strong. Don't say you want the bad stuff to come, because I remember
you don't want it. You don't want that.
I remember I had a really bad interview and I was just like, man, I wish that something would happen to make you guys forget about this interview. And why God, I really wish I never said that shit. It is what it is. It's not about me. It's about Mr. Morgan Smith.
No,
thank you again for coming out. Like, yo, honestly, this is, again, we've done pretty big interviews this year. It's my favorite. Like, this is made it for me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I can retire. This is you now.
No, we're almost there. He said we're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there. I can't let it get to me.
One more key to unlock.
But one thing I have to say, I am thankful for the younger generation. Like when you're shooting things like Buzz, my mind's not going there. I don't know who's watching unless someone stops me on the street or someone sends me mail.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know what's going on. But the thing that I'm really proud of is like the effect that it had on people after how many years? Because I didn't realize in my younger years, but now I look at it and I say, oh damn, I'm influencing, whether positive or negative, that younger generation. They grew up on me.
Because
watching me. And
I was
like
like 11 or 10 or 11 watching.
For real?
My brother, my bro, I said, what is this guy watching? I'm trying to like see, watching the cool stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what's this? He's like, yo, look, I'm watching, like, okay. Some parts was kind of hard for me to like kind of understand, like, you know, because obviously the comedy level was a bit different. My mind's not mature enough, like, you know. But like the little parodies and stuff, I love those. Like, oh, bootleg, and all the dances and stuff, and the bunny. I'm like, yo, this is so sick, you know.
Yeah, there was a lot of I purposely put a lot of symbolism in the show that you either caught on to or you didn't catch on to. But there was a lot of things in there that I did because I was trying to do social commentary. So I would throw a whole bunch of things in there, like, you know, White History Month. I did a segment on that. White History Month, Jesus caught on tape. Because what if Jesus just lost it? What if he had his bad days, right?
Yeah.
Yo, bro, really quick. You're on live. Don't say anything crazy. Yo, we're interviewing somebody right now, right? I just want to name a Toronto show that we used to watch back in the day. It had a black guy and a white guy on it. They used to go on the wait, who and the white guy? Yeah, that's all I need. That's all I need, broski. That's all I need. I'm gonna message you back just now. He said Mo and the white guy.
And in some other towns, in the white towns, it's Darren and the black guy.
Darren and the black.
It all balances out.
Yo, Mo, again, like that, like again. just like you're thanking us, we have to thank you because me and him stress it all the time. There's no TV shows, there's no movies, like short film, like there is short films, but like we need to see more from here, from our people, from our struggles, from our culture.
Yeah.
And somebody like you and Darren that really like I said, you guys paved the way for me. Like I remember seeing Master T and you, and then Cabby came on way later. But it was you three that really said, hey, well.
Oh, Cabby. Yes, that's right.
Cabby,
I knew him from the comedy clubs too.
Oh, yeah, he was doing comedy?
Yeah, back in the day. But he got his TV break a lot earlier. So he left comedy. But yeah, that's where I met him. I met him in the comedy. I met him at Yuck Yucks.
Wow.
Yeah. We all came from out of Yuck Yucks.
Yo, this reunion has to happen at Yuck Yucks. Call Cabby, call Darren.
And also with Master T.
Yeah.
I remember doing stand-up at his brother-in-law's stag party.
Oh, yeah?
I had to perform after some stripper. That's where I first met Master T.
You're just performing after all the hardship.
Oh, no, I knew a lot of strippers back in the day. Actually, there's a lot of strippers on the show that people don't know are strippers.
Wow.
Yeah, people don't know that. But Hopra?
Yeah.
There's strippers in.
Yeah, there's
strippers in there. Yeah.
Golden, man.
All used to be old friends of mine. Yeah.
Like I said, man, this like Morgan, you're just your time, what you've done for this city and the content that you've created, and now just transitioning, doing the spiritual thing. We thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
And again, if you ever want to do a documentary and you need cameras, you need mics, you need
I'll keep it in mind.
anything.
I'll keep it in mind.
I'll bet. Listen,
you guys work next to free. We'll do it. You know?
Guys,
hey, who cares? I'm doing it.
Yeah,
hold on, before we go, right? On the count of three, can we get one hum? Like on the count of three?
A
hum.
What is that?
You want hum or you want om?
Oh, the meditation hum?
You want om?
Yeah.
Om.
All of us?
Yeah,
om.
It's
All right,
om.
ready?
Yeah.
Can we do it? 1, 2, 3. I love this place. Oh, he's still going. I love this place.
Still going.
Yeah.
You guys stopped too soon.
Oh no! See, he's like 100 gateways past us, so we got to unlock that. I'm almost there. Kind of got
You're almost
threes.
there. Almost there. You got the three.
Got three.
Got the three.
Morgan, can you let the people know how to get a hold of you?
Oh gosh.
Social medias. If they need any meditation.
I definitely have to send you some links, but you can find me on Linktree.
Okay.
All my stuff is there. You can find all my interviews, all my podcast interviews. You can find Energy Meditation. You can find. I'm also a neurofeedback therapist.
Okay.
So I also help people with neurofeedback. It's another advanced form that you can use to enhance certain aspects of the brain. All that stuff is there on my Linktree.
Sorry to cut you. Really quick. Can we do an episode like that? Can we do like
an episode of what?
A therapy episode? Is that possible?
Yeah, of course it's possible. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, we can do it. We can all link up and just go do a meditation episode. It's not much. We just put the cameras together and we just meditate.
The cameras and we do the meditation?
Yeah.
Of course.
With the ayahuasca and the other
we
one.
can do it.
I don't know about that just yet, but
No, you don't want the ayahuasca.
I
You
don't
ever been to
know.
an ayahuasca ceremony and see what's happening?
I don't.
I like
Yeah,
the
you
naked
gotta be
stuff
ready.
and
People gotta be ready.
Yeah. I don't know
a
about that.
lot of vomiting. A lot of vomiting and a lot of diarrhea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ew, good.
Maybe I do need it then, because I do need a washout still. I eat terrible. I eat terrible.
This is different than a washout, though. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's a different kind of vomiting.
This is a whole
and
different type of
All the
Yeah.
worms and stuff.
Yeah, so I'll do the washout.
Yeah.
Then. I'll do the washout.
But it does give you a washout, even though I've never had that. But the vomiting, that happens.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
vomiting.
But trust me, though, this vomit is the best vomit you'll ever have. It doesn't look that way, but when you're vomiting, it feels like you're vomiting every piece of trauma out of your soul.
Wow.
It's absolutely incredible when you get to that point. Yeah.
That sounds
Trust me when I tell you this. The greatest vomit you'll ever have.
I
in your
believe
life.
it. That Hamilton guy, the whatever encyclopedia guy, the Hamilton guy on what's the Vice?
Vice.
He does these things.
Oh yeah, it's Vice.
Yeah,
yeah.
and he does that. He goes around like licks toads, gets spaced out. Yeah,
That's what.
But he did the ayahuasca.
What was his first name? Something
it's
Hamilton.
Hamilton's Psycho Somethingpedia, something like that.
Interesting. Yeah, I used to watch those episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, such an intriguing episode.
Yeah, let me know though. We can do one. Yeah, we can do it.
We're definitely gonna be setting it up. Sorry again. So yeah,
I'll be
how
there.
How people can get a hold of you? That camera.
Oh yes. Energy. You can find my Energy stuff on Gumroad. That's where people can find that. I can never remember the actual link. I'm still high. But it's all there. You can find me on different podcasts as well as Guru Viking and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
But you'll find the link. The link will be there. I'll send it to you.
Send it to me, and we'll definitely have it right
and
here.
all there. But you can find everything that I'm doing within Linktree. Linktree, whatever the Linktree at Linktree dot whatever Morgan O. Smith or whatever that is. I don't. Whatever.
Damn.
People find it. People find it. Oh, but you can find me on IG, Morgan O. Smith. You'll find me on IG. You'll find me on well, it's not called Twitter anymore, but X. You'll find me on there. You'll find me on what's that new one that's called the Squiggly?
Blue Sky?
No.
Oh, Threads?
Threads.
Yeah.
You'll find me on Threads. I'm no longer on Facebook. I have group stuff on there, but I'm no longer on Facebook, individually anyway.
You still have a MySpace?
I'm sure it's still there, but I haven't looked into that in a very long time.
HTTP 404 user not found.
We're going back in the day. We're going to talk about Black Planet, all these different old sites.
I gotta go see if my Black Planet's still up.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a few girls I still have to meet from there.
Right?
They're in their 50s now? When you're in your 50s, that's got to be a trip.
That'd be imagine you're on there and somebody's still messaging you like,
Still
yo,
messaging you after all this
that'd be crazy.
Who's here in 2025?
That is funny.
Those YouTube comments.
That reminds me, you also find me on YouTube.
Yeah.
You'll find me there as well. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
And on that note, man, it's the Man Them Show. It's your boy Gutsy.
Basmati, big up.
And Morgan O. Smith.
Hey, and we're off of this.
Mr. Mo.
Hey.